guest is part of one of Britain's, well, actually Ireland's greatest musical families. As part of the course, she sold a staggering 30 million albums, including #1s in dozens of different countries. She's just launching her first solo album, so we're great that she's been with us this morning. It's Sharon Corr. Great to have her on the show. Good to have her on the show. I know you're a bit of a keen cook as well, aren't you, really? Because you've got the kids now, 2 kids. You do a lot of cooking at home?
I do a lot of cooking, yeah. I do. I wouldn't say I'm that good at it, but I do a lot of it.
Dabble in there. But I suppose you get time, because obviously the new album's coming out. So you're on tour at the moment?
Yeah, well, I'm out promoting the record at the moment, so and I'm releasing in a lot of different countries. So I'm kind of running out of Germany and the UK and France and Spain, so I'm all over the place.
Good, good, good. Well, you're here to eat, of course.
I am.
At the end of every programme, either cook Food Heaven or Food Hell for Sharon. It'll be something based on your favourite ingredient, Food Heaven, or your nightmare ingredient, Food Hell. So to our studio guests and some of our viewers to decide which one you get to eat at the end of the show. So Food Heaven, what would it be?
I love hake.
Hake?
Yeah.
I've never had that fish. It's kind of like, deemed as like the poor man's sort of cod, really, but it's fantastic fish.
It's very, very simple, and I kind of love it with sort of, you know, Thai ingredients, you know, with sort of lemongrass and that sort of thing, and ginger.
Are you writing a recipe or something?
I am. Can you do that for me?
I could do that, yeah. What about Food Hell?
It's dill. I just, you know, I don't know what it is, but I spent a lot of time travelling, and every time I'm in, like, Sweden or Norway, they seem to be serving, like, gravlax and dill for breakfast, and that's just my worst nightmare. I'd rather have a bowl of cereal.
That's about all they have, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, I mean, dill's one... Look at those two there. Look at that.
I see, I'm a big fan of poached salmon, and salmon and dill together, fantastic.
Looking at you two, it reminds me of sort of, we've got sort of the Bill to the left and Crime Watch to the right. Look at them. Brilliant, those two. There you go. Tweedledum and Tweedledee. So there you go. It's either hake or dill on the menu for Sharon, for Food Heaven. I've got a version of a classic Thai dish, a crispy fried hake pad Thai. The fish is dipped with a light tempura batter, deep fried, and served with a tangy sauce made from chili, hoisin, sugar and water, and served on a bed of pad Thai style noodles. How's that sound?
That sounds wonderful.
Sounds all right. It's quite hot and spicy, but crispy fish to go with it as well. Well, our Sharon could be facing Food Hell. Dill, and that dill-crusted piece of salmon with dill and mustard mayonnaise. We've got dill overload for this one. The salmon is cured in whiskey, sugar and salt. I know you like the whiskey bit. Topped with a pan-roasted topped on a piece of pan-roasted salmon, and served with a homemade mustard and dill mayonnaise, and some just crushed new potatoes on the side, with, of course, some dill in it.
Okay. Well, I think the mustard might cover the taste of the dill, so I'm kind of hoping that might work if I have to, absolutely.
Okay, there you go. But you have to wait to the end of the show to see which one Sharon gets. So let's meet our other chef's table guests. As usual, there are 2 Saturday Kitchen viewers. Heidi, you were the one who wrote in.
I did.
Welcome to the show. Have you brought along with you?
I've brought my best friend Ali.
And fans of Asian and curry?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, every opportunity.
None of which those two are doing. And partial to grouse there? Have you tried grouse?
I've never tried grouse. I've been to Cornwall recently and nearly ran over a few. So it'd be interesting to... Yeah, I didn't bring any back.
They're about £8 each. You should have brought back. Right, I'll talk to you a bit more later. If you've got any questions for me or the boys, don't hesitate, fire away. And of course, you get to help us decide what Sharon will be eating at the end of the show. Yeah. Now, if you'd like to ask a question, of course, on the show, then here's the number. That's 08716 41 41 41. That's 08716 41 41 41. Calls, remember, cost 10p a minute for a BT landline. Mobiles and other networks may vary, and a few of you to put your questions to us live a little later on. And if you do get on the show, then be asking you whether Sharon should be getting Food Heaven or Food Hell. So start thinking. Right, kicking first is a chef who single-handedly turned Nottingham into one of the country's hottest foodie hangouts. It's the brilliant Sat Baines. Great to have on the show.
Bublé and lots of different people. And he was just curious because we turned up the violins, tin whistles, baron, and we just said, can we play for you? And he was just really interested, so we sat around the piano and we played a couple of songs, and we were signed the next day. But it took us about 4 years to get to that point of signing.
And that was it. I mean, 30 million albums later, but, I mean, unbelievably, 5 years ago, you decided to just, that's it.
Well, I suppose, you know, we had toured, recorded albums, promoted them and toured back-to-back for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it was really time for us to, we'd had amazing success all over the world, and it was time for us to sort of, I suppose, pursue our own individual lives, because we were sort of hemmed in together all the time. And it felt like the right time, and within a couple of months I was pregnant with my first son, Carl, and you know, Caroline already had a little boy at that stage, and you know, so it just made sense. I mean, but you know, we will work together again. It just was the time to stop for a while.
Yeah, but in the meantime, back out on your own. branching out on your own.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, I was only like home for about 6 months and I'd already had itchy feet to get back out there because being on the road became more normal, more normal to me than being at home, so...
So during that sort of 5 years in between that and obviously your new album, which is due out next week, is it? Next week?
Yeah, it's at the 13th of September.
Were you still writing bits of music? Because you used to write a lot of the songs for the group.
Well, you know, the band all wrote, which was great for us. We all wrote a lot, so that was kind of ideal, you know. So for me, when I came off the road, the one thing I didn't want to lose was my writing chops. I wanted to keep them up and make sure I was still working on that. Yeah. So I did, and I just kept writing, and I had a very sort of productive couple of years writing. And before I knew it, I was kind of recording the album before I decided to do it, if you know what I mean. It just was a very natural thing.
Because you still kept some of the, I mean, not the band with you, but the backing team with you as such. But, I mean, great names like Jeff Beck you've been working with on it as well.
Yeah, that was really cool. I went to a gig of Jeff's last year in Vicar Street in Dublin. And, I mean, the gig was phenomenal. And I went backstage because I knew all the bouncers work in the venue because I live in Dublin. So went backstage and said hello. And he's just such a sweet guy. And he's, you know, just such an incredible musician. Of course, ticking over in my mind is, God, do you think he could play in my album, you know? And so I did an instrumental version of a tune called Manona Heron. Yeah. And sort of did a beautiful orchestral scoring of it. And I knew if he would be into something, he would probably be into a sort of classical Irish feel. And I was brought up playing classical and then moved into traditional. So I thought that might hook him. So we sent that to him, and he fell in love with it. And then I played it with him in the O2 earlier this year with his gig with Eric Clapton and himself, and it was really just great. He's a great guy to work with.
Fantastic. Yeah. I'll just run through what we've got here. We've got the chicken cooking away nicely there.
Yeah.
We've got all the spices in there, some apple, some onion, bit of garlic. We've got things like fenugreek seeds, a little bit of black onion seeds, and we almost dry fry them in sugar as well in there.
Oh, lovely.
And I've chopped some mint coriander. The final bit I've got going in there is some mango chutney, some lime, and that's about it really. But looking back, talking about your album as well now, there's a mixture, obviously. I mean, I said you've got a mixture of the songs that you wrote, but you cover a few songs as well.
Yeah, I covered 2 songs on the album, and basically because for me an album is it's like a journey, and the album's about what I've been really enjoying musically myself and what I've been writing, and then also there's two songs that have had sort of a big influence in my life, and one of them is the single, which is Everybody's Gotta Learn Sometime, and I was always playing the violin solo in that song, but never actually singing it. And last year I was rehearsing for the Isle of Wight and Glastonbury festivals, and my guitarist said, "Oh, why don't you try singing it?" And I did, and it just really suited. And then everybody loved it, so I ended up, okay, everybody loves this, so I put it on the album. So yeah. And then I did a cover of Bronski Beat's Small Town Boy.
Yeah.
But really turned it on its head. You sort of recognise the song. And
I mean, it is relaxing. I said to one of the shits, I actually fell asleep last night.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
It's not. I'll take that as a compliment.
He was snoring to my music.
Zach, it's a compliment. But it is. It's very relaxing, isn't it? It's really relaxing music.
Okay, you've backpedaled. It's okay. I believe you.
It is. Good. It is really relaxing, though. Well, what's the first
Thank
one?
you.
The wedding song? Is it wedding?
Were you driving
the first track?
Our wedding day.
Yeah, you see?
That's an instrumental, and I always open my stage show with that instrumental. So, and I wanted to make the album like I would make a stage show, if you know what I mean.
Well, don't do it when I'm there, otherwise I'd fall asleep.
I know. I'm not putting you in the front row.
There you go. Right, I've got my chicken there. We've just cooked this. This is our little pickle. I mean, the idea of this is it's a bit like Sat's thing, so it's really simple, full of flavour, like that.
Looks great.
And you just, there you go, a little bit of that. Touch of lime juice at the end, a little sprinkle over the top, and then I've nicked some off Sat, a little bit of coriander cress. There you go, and some of this stuff. This is red amaranth.
And these are from your garden as well?
No, you can actually grow this sort of stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, red amaranth. It's kind of like a little trendy leaf now, but down into it. It's like a little snacky sort of thing. But the pickle does actually cook in, what's that, 6 minutes to cook all the way through? But it's like an Indian-inspired little pickle, but it's straight out of the garden.
They want some over here.
That's a bit of onion. I'll let you off.
As soon as you said Indian, these two
Sorry.
But it's not that spicy. You can put green chilli in there if you want to spice